Okay, I'm going to post this indicator as a comment. This is a indicator that shows you um, the sessions go by, 8-hour sessions really. So here comes Asia, and you've got 8 hours, and then 8 hours, and then 8 hours, and then the day's over. 1 hour chart, 2 pip spread here, and we're going to try to get our trades going. And we have to risk at least 10 to 20 pips here on these trades. So if we're just going to use this silly idea of we're going to buy here on limits, and we're going to try to scalp to at least here. And on the 1 hour chart, that trade's in the bag. So it's a high probability trade. It's so cute to see ICT come out with his video this week. I couldn't resist. 16 hours ago, there's something talking about, well, I don't trade coming into NFP. The days leading into NFP, he will not trade. His system can't do it. You know, it's kind of wonky, and it's a little skewed, and it's the end of the month, and it's a little, I thought this was Mr. Big Boy Inside Trader, got the scoopola. So cute. I mean, it's so funny, man. His stuff is so funny. You know, the guy sent me the thing, and I thought, these aren't fibs up here, but you want to sell these 8-hour order blocks, or what do you call them, price action blocks? I call this the ICT block because I want to see if he'll try to arrest me. But imagine you traded the stop hunt, like you traded anti-goober. Just trade opposite retail entry, that's all. This, you know, this is not a secret part of the puzzle, is it? Like here's a breakout. Now everybody's going to say 8-hour breakout bot. I wrote this 8-hour breakout bot, and obviously it wouldn't be hard to code this. If the market doesn't move, now here's the trick, and here's the inside puzzle. If the market doesn't move more than, by the way, this is 20 pips from here to here. That's the 100-yard line. If the market doesn't move more than 13 pips, 14 pips, there's several robots that are going to be activated to that. They're just going to be goober breakout bots, right? Very tight stops, though. Almost better to have a robot, or this is the Wyckoff composite man theory, is that especially just above this high, which is created by the very end of that session, you get that nice big 8-hour ATR. Actually, it's a true range of 8 hours. So I made the colors here kind of the same. You can make them anything you want in the code. You should be able to find that. Like right here, what's going on now? Do you have sell limits up there to trap people? I would have sell limits like galore up here. And that would be a no-brainer. We could see these areas, just like I'd have buy limits galore in here, to make that little trade there and this little trade here. And then, of course, what people aren't suspecting is that we could come down here into this major, this is a very tall order here, caused by the giant swoosh move here. Now, you would say, well, would it be better to have the session just go for 12 hours? You could set it for 12 hours. I'm using 8 hours here so that you can calibrate your scripts, I guess, if you wanted to do that kind of silliness. Or front run the market by 12 hours or 24 hours. So if you do put a sell limit up here and it lasts for the whole day, this is 24 hours here. If you dropped it here, it's going to last to here. It would have filled coming into the next, because it's a 24-hour script when it says D1. You could drop it here, you could drop it here, you could fill any one of these cells. And you know when you come into this window here, you know that there's going to be buyers. In every window there's a seller, there's a buyer for a seller. That's why it's called exchange. The weight that you put onto these trades in your mind, like, well, oh, that trade's not, there's a bunch of guys that are going the other way on that. I probably have to repaint that session thing. It doesn't like when I delete objects, so it won't come back in. I got to reload the template on the fly here, but you'll be okay. Then I got to resize it because I kind of wrote this template to be... But here we see 8 bars per blue box, bluish box. Also, you kind of plan out the next day very easily. You know that here was your sell limits that you should have put in right here. You would have got filled right there. In fact, it went one more the next session just a little bit lower and then ripped up and then just a little bit higher. So this is your auction, right? From there to there. Once you see the doji is the 8-hour session, then bam, bam. So the ICT guys should pick this up right away. The problem with ICT is his shit is he claims conceptuality, but then he says, well, it's Monday, it's Tuesday, I got a theory at the beginning of the month. These aren't concepts. That is like fucking the most sophomoric fucking trading shit. That is like when I was Jake Bernstein, who's a seasonal trader in commodities. I even traded at their brokerage firm. Him and this guy that wrote a book on stochastics. I traded their account there. And then my sarcasm, apparently, this guy really thought I was being serious. So when I went to move my account, and then I wanted to move it back, I thought, I don't know, let's test drive these guys. He said, I'll never take your account back. You're such an asshole. I said, really? Okay, I thought, gosh, I guess my sarcasm is a little bit thick. I don't know, maybe I can stop. No, I'm not gonna stop. Fuck you, bye. So I just, the seasonality. Jake Bernstein couldn't fucking make a call. This is the fucking asshole. So you call it a trade. They're like, did you just see the crop report? I'm like, dude, did you see the chart? Take your crop report, stick it up your fucking ass. I mean, I knew fundamentals was bullshit. I'm like, yeah, obviously. So as you go through all these books and read and all this bullshit, it's like Steve Neeson's writing a candlestick book. Dude, you think there's nowhere in those fucking books that it says, here's the trade plan for a doji, here's the trade plan for a severely bullish candle. Here's the engulf trade. Now, the engulf trade may be a good buy because it's really a half hour engulf is a fucking 1 hour hammer. Once you figure that out, you say, candlesticks are just a matter of time frame. Look at all these wick to wick things. Look at all this stuff. And then here comes the crush. So here is where you got to be really trading wide because, okay, that was the first scalp. Now this indicator I have did not mark off. It didn't catch this bar. There's something wrong here. Stop the process. Something wrong. This little wick did not, you should have an order there. And that should be the easy scalp. At least back to this floor, or just say, how about we just try to make 10 pips? So that could be $100, it could be $10, it could be $1, whatever it is for you. And I'm also going to say that it makes it easy. In other words, you got only 8 bars a day here to deal with. So if you're going to do this order block theory, or I call it old and new prices. I mean, this is the old highs that we broke out. We sheared that hammer. This is a hammer. Right? Can we all agree? Like, this is a hammer. Bam. And it actually engulfs here. This is the first serious engulf auction. Comes down here, grabs that shit, comes here. It doesn't make it to here, but it definitely makes it to here, which is engulfing this other day. So it's a hammer. I mean, it's actually an engulf, but here's the 8-hour hammer at the tail of that engulf. And here's my scalp, right? So you can see I'm out of that trade. If I hand place the ticket in there, so this is the sweet spot. This does not change. It doesn't matter whether there's NFP coming. That is just because he does not have a stop. He doesn't have a trade plan with stops. He trades at the market really big and he gets scales out. I saw one of his students send me an email. He gets in at the so-called optimal trade entry, which the other guy could have laid the tickets out in limits in a cluster. If he really believed in fibs, he'd have one on every fib, but he didn't. Here comes the crush. Now, this is when I'm also looking at the market. How far can I move in 1 hour? If at the end of the hour, this is down big, I'm pulling the trigger at the market with a 25, 50, 70 pip stop. In other words, I don't care. Boom, boom, boom. Now, the scalp, you see that jump at the end? That was a scalp, and we're out. At this floor here is going to be the scalp. This is a 1 hour chart. And there's trades all day long here. We can see the big view here too all the time. This 15-minute bar stuff, it's hilarious. And he's like, right here at this one moment on the 1 minute chart on the ES Mini, we're getting in here. I'm like, you got to be loading the wagon, like unbelievable. These that kind of, see, that's why his stuff's bullshit, because he couldn't trade this week coming in an NFP. That's bullshit. If your system can't trade the market, well, it's kind of skewed. It's excuse making shit. Well, I won't drive unless it's perfect condition. He's like, I'm not going to trade the rest of the year. Well, granted, you probably don't want to trade on November 3rd, but there's no reason you couldn't, because say your robots had a spread filter, they wouldn't get in the market. Yeah, the spreads are wide. You don't have a trade plan with a 300 pip stop. I got it. The guy that was sending me the email had no stop. It's an over-the-counter market. Sure, when the elections come, you're not going to be able to trade. ICT can't trade it. He just can't. He's at the market, sniper. Obviously, he's got this. But he can't even see the stop on himself because he's so like, well, it has to be, it's the beginning of the month. I mean, these are bullshit rules. It's a Wednesday. That's seasonal Jake Bernstein shit. 3 of his books. Okay. I'm down $200 on that fucking trade. Okay. I'm talking, when I tell you I've got I swear $5,000 of books about trading. And I mean, picture's worth 1,000 words. So, and a lot of these don't have a lot of writing. So I've read them. I read them. I said, when it comes down to it, are you really going to step in front of this market with that fucking trade plan and think to yourself, well, could you program a book? I mean, if you can put man on Mars, can't you get a fucking robot to trade the market, for God's sakes? Can't it just digest all these fucking books and just come up with the best? I mean, the chess, the chess bot could beat a human at chess, right? Well, how's it going here? Because you can't, right? And the whole thing, how he beat the robot was he put out bullshit trades. He put out bullshit moves. When the Russian guy went up against the IBM robot, he just put out like trash. That the robot was like, this isn't in my greatest hits. I mean, what's going on here? Well, the market's doing that all the time, but the market will actually be so cliche. You look at this channel trade. I mean, I had this MACD system was working so good. And the funniest thing is to watch the people put that MACD on the goddamn 12/26/9 as if it's fucking like wearing a mask. Really, dude? I mean, seriously. Well, I'll run that on the dailies, and I got it. I'm all with you with the money management and all that shit. But honestly, that's like saying I survived a debate with Trump because I didn't die. You can't fucking make a living like that. Biden can't not be asked to make a decision if he has to check with central control. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So you couldn't. I just don't. But you're welcome to it. Sure, you can send me screenshots all day long, but it's just kind of silliness, And to say that, the smart money. Well, I thought he was going to be our smart money. I wouldn't pay that guy $150 or whatever it is for his course. I mean, I don't know. I guess I did that. I did those things, but at least with the Jake Bernsteins and stuff, you knew you were in for like, okay, let's try this. I don't know if I have foursomes, maybe threesomes, but once you get 5 people in there, it's like, okay, where is that? And then they put mirrors in the room, and next thing you know, the smoke and the mirrors and the. Well, what's going to happen here, see, isn't like, how about this Paul Krugman dumb shit? Nobel Prize winning dumb shit. Oh, yeah, with Trump wins, the markets are going to go to shit. Well, I guess he was right. Look at Corona. Like, what the fuck? You got to be kidding. So, but that's so entertaining. And I was watching he's got this theory. I got this theory about the end of the month, what I do. And oh my God, man. This is when you have a dynamic trading system. If you can swing trade this shit and you can scalp it, then there's no way you couldn't just say, well, I'll just swing trade this, and this is going to be a long-term trade, sit back. Or are you really on the 5-minute chart, you're on the 1-minute chart, you're scalping this big giant position. Okay. I can't handle that lifestyle too much because really, I got to sit there and fucking worry about every fucking minute that's going by. I don't want to worry about every fucking minute that's going by. I'll put the trade on, sit back. You know what? They smack it down, they retrace it. I know what's probably going to happen. Now I could watch it happen. Here, look at this smash back to this top. So here, we did not get that beautiful, this would be with ICT theory entry. We didn't get that beautiful comeback to here. It didn't quite make it. But it made it like if you're just shooting for pips instead of fucking some structure target, that's completely different. You know, these structure targets people come up with, this 600 pip fucking move here with a 800 pip stop. I would have survived that in this amazing swing trade. There's all those pips, like all the pips I made. Yeah, well, you know, that could be a $80 trade or it could be a $8 million trade. And if you're making $8 million, you know, obviously, if you're risking 2% of your account, you've already had millions coming in. And like, what are you doing at that level of trading? Are you managing some giant fund, or are you just trying to pay the rent? Also, you know, people say trading for a living. I guess, you know, if you have one account, you'd have to have, you know, some money on the sides, right? Because you couldn't just sit there and count on this 1 minute chart in an ICT order block queuing up every day. Well, the guy also said something like every day he gets this trade going. I guess on the 1 minute chart there is a trade every day. On the 5 minute chart, yeah, there's a trade every day. There's fibs. Everybody's going to put their fibs in a different spot. Everybody wants to use a different moving average. This indicator here is just nothing but slicing time. It's purely objective. There's no direction to this. I know the colors look like maybe that people are used to a color block being biased color blocks, but here it's just about breakout, you know, breakout theory and trap theory. So here's another auction we just missed here, where they trap the guys here. So you have buy limits here and sell limits here. Another retapping of Asia. This is like also like the Steve Morrow. People, oh, I thought of that first. Oh, no, you didn't. So this is the breakout, but I'm buying on limits into this, right? So my system buys for the next 20 pips for maybe 8 hours. So I'll buy this whole box, this one that's going to paint right now. Right now, I got orders in for 8 hours. Boom. To buy down here. Hopefully, I bought something here at the trap, and I'm going to scalp out as soon as we get up. Then this is the 1 hour time frame. Now, I'm sure with a script, wider scripts on the guppy or the pound, you could run the same theory, the same buy low, sell high, new lows, buy the new lows, scalp the new lows. Will it keep tanking? It could. I hope it does. So I got buy limits down here. I'm just waiting for this thing to come down. And I'm sleeping, and I got just a ton of orders here and here. So I know that this is a nice looking indicator, but it's missing this one. And that's a big deal because it's 1 hour older and it's very tall. So when we get to here, there should be an insane amount of action. And when it gets below here, my God, I'm going to buy more than you can imagine. Now, so I'm kind of back testing my scripts here, but forward testing, I suppose. I know that box is 8 hours. I got that long to fill those tickets, and the ones that only last 4 hours and 2 hours, and if I put about 500K in a 20 pip window, some of them expire in 15. The faster that market drops, the better the fill, and the more logical it is to fill because it is moving so quickly into that hole. That's the whole point of that. Smash down. Now here comes the retrace, possibly. There's no guarantee. In fact, as far as this 2% of your account, right here, 0.0001% of my account. The rest of this I would judge. I have a trigger. I can pull a trigger at the market, right? So I would have bought under that table there on that last hour. And the last hour, it slightly came down. Buy with a tight stop. And that is another. So I have a whole array. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, 28K with tight stop, wide stop. Now sit back. I still know we could go lower here. I bought at the hour. I know people say, "What? But you bought? Let's keep going." I know there's more to fill. This is the multi-level approach. Okay, so you could go pure limits, but I'm like, dude, we just closed every time we close under this floor right now, I'm calling this the floor. I'm pulling the trigger at the market. There's no other way. It's a dumb, easy trade. Now, you may say, well, what if it just goes like, well, you know what? That's even better. I got to buy more shit down here. I'm going and scaling in and out. The whole thing's scaling in and out. It's all incremental. I just can't imagine taking a hard ass position here in 40K. And what if I don't, I mean, 40 standard lots, what if I don't get filled in my optimal trade entry? And every pip it goes against me, $100 a pip, really? That would have been the scalp, I think, right there. The sellers just came in at the top of that hour. That's a hammer. And we know the sellers just came in there because if it's slightly up in a downtrend, they sell with a tight stop. And we could plummet now. And so I'm not against the sellers here. I'm rooting for them. Come on, send me some more moronic questions, please. Please ask me that same question again. Do you denounce trading with indicators? Yes, I did at one time, but well, this is an indicator, so yeah. All indicators. Do you denounce even thinking about trading with indicators? Absolutely. What are you kidding? You think I want to lose any of my students? I denounced indicators a long time ago. I do use Fibonacci though. No, okay, you caught me. I was using MACD with the original settings, RSI 14, ATR 4. I like how, in no nonsense, really. Yeah, we're using the old, that's how we prove it wrong, see. We put the settings on some insane setting. Okay, I'm still waiting for my order blocks to fill here. 8-hour scrubs. Oh, the sellers took it. See, now they had took the ball there now. Lower. Okay, big smash down. Notice the fill here, which is not being, I have to mark it off, but we just tagged this area, so that we know we just got filled on something here. Plus, we're always buying new lows on the 4-hour. So it's completely counterintuitive. You're kind of buying and trying to build a long position under the floor here. You need a reason to pull the trigger. Here you pull the trigger with a tight stop. It's kind of tight-ish because now it's losing momentum. That sell-off was not as hard as the last one. I saw ICT went to a line chart on his, he's stealing my stuff now. He went to a line chart on his charts in his last video. I think it's like 16,000 views on this stuff. I mean, he's just got this, people think he's the mother of all traders or the god of all traders. I guess Mott would be instead of Gota or Moat, the mother of all traders. Man, I had no idea because this goes back about 4 years ago that I got death threats when I made a comment about how ridiculously. This is before his puzzle phase. It's kind of like watching. I've watched a lot of Scientology with the Tom Cruise with the big medal around his neck. He reminds me of that. He should be in that thing. So we're just about to get filled. Still getting filled here on the long side. Another trip into the giant smash down. Now, I would be buying, like I said, this whole smash down here. And buying at the market when it's down. Not when it's up, because I'm going to hold on to whatever I got. And we could still smash down tremendously here. And we're just about to trip this low. We took this low out. And we're going to have a big pack of orders here. And then really monster pack here. But now I'm all in. And I got my finger on the trigger. And every time it's down, it closes down at the end of the hour. I pull it. That's my only fun. Is if I'm here for that trade, buy it at the market. Otherwise, well, I'm not going to wake up in the middle. I know they're going to crush this zone here. Okay, so we're in about 80K, let's say. And I got about 160K pending below. And I'm risking about, I don't know, $800 here or something. For the moment, of course, every moment that goes by here, if I press a button on my tablet, somebody mentioned, where's these, how can you trade mobily? So mobily. The only way you can trade on a mobile thing is to get like a Dell or something, tablet, 8-inch old school, $100, $60, used. And just what I did was I just loaded it with double clicks, right? No drag and drops on a tablet, just going to warn you. Don't even think about trading on a tablet unless you got a mouse. Because if you're going to drag and drop shit on a tablet, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty good with my hands. I'm not gonna be able to do that. I mean, I've had like, oh, that's not in the right spot, and then I gotta go rifling through the terminal to delete these orders that are pending. It's not gonna happen. So everything on the tablet was designed for. I look at the thing. I'm driving the car. I look at the mark and I go, oh fuck, that thing dropped like a whore, and I just throw out 10Ks in front, like 10 pips apart for maybe 4 hours. Now here's the critical thing: if they only last an hour, then where I get to where I'm going, I right here, I would do it right here on a day like this. Like fucking, buy limits. Oh, just throw them out. Just throw them out there. So they're out there really wide. There's enough money in the account. Let's hope. And I'm just going to build this position now. Some of that's going to cash out on the retrace because it's written into the script where the targets are at. 13 pips, 20 pips, 19 pips, all that shit is written, and it's all laid in there. And on the double clicks, you can have pretty intensely complicated scripts because they're hard written to say, I'm getting in 35 pips deep with a 10 pip stop, 38 pips deep with a 100 pip stop. Inside of that one double click, you could have a 20K where 5K are insane risk pip-wise, and the other ones are not. And then the next one, custom written not to repeat the next one. So maybe you have these, you just press a fucking button, and it's throwing fucking buy limits out in front there. Because it really doesn't fucking matter. Now, at the end of the hour, every hour it's down, yeah, you have a market order there too. So there's no double click, no drag and drop. Now, the stuff I do in the videos is all precision drag and drop, or it could be double click. I did a double click once. I took an account to some insane amount because I wrote a script that bought like about 50K right now. It'd be in another 50K right now. And what it was is about an 8-hour. So during Asia, I'd launched these big monster. Right now, you're in about 500K right now, guaranteed on the way that I wrote that script. And it lasted 8 hours and is designed to come in 20 pips, 40 pips deep. Did you see the scalp there for the structure traders? They would have had to get out right here at this, people that are babysitting it. And we pop back up, and there's the trailing sell limits also, if you're going to come into this system. Very tight, you can run very tight sell limits. So the one little fake breakout back to the floor before this big smash down, see right there is where I'm cashed out. Automatically in this, I know that here I have to have a ton of tickets, and this is going to be the biggest inventory raid right there. We all know these that this. It's before we even got down here. I said, you got to have the tickets down there. Now I know for a lot of people they'd be like, "Holy shit!" Yeah, I'd be buying every hour that dropped. To be honest with you, at the market, if I didn't think I filled enough limits. If this 40 pip window did not have enough limits, then I got the spread set at 2 pips, and that's a 20 pip window, which needs 10% cost of doing business in this window to buy that and smack to that. Now, you didn't buy the whole window yet even. If you're going to double click scripts from a tablet, you could lay in, you have no idea. Because to hand drop shit, you still got to drag and drop over. Now, it sounds like that's not a lot of work, but there's nothing like a double click of there's a 10K, you could lay in 190K in 10 clicks, 20 clicks, 10K per click of just ridiculous shit. Now here, once again, I still got pendings that haven't filled down here, and it could be 12 hours dailies. Think about all the tickets that all the retracement guys have pending down here to buy on limits because they just don't give a fuck about some MACD shit. They don't care about that. Now, we just established this immense range on the 8-hour there because the slam to the floor just so happens that the way this 8-hour bracketed it included that. See, we have pressure building up with the trailing stops to go the other way. It all started here, and the breakout traders are going to go, I don't even know what you're talking about. RSI is bullshit. All I did was put a sell stop here in Asia, a buy stop here, and look at, they filled me. Look at me fucking pips I made. But this is, I'm assuming they could see where we were going, that this giant hole was just itching to be filled. And when we come back, the full, this floor would be this market retraces to here, and people go flat, and then we start all over again with the bullshit every day. and these 8-hour columns of volatility. So when this thing took off, like I said, if you would have cut the time frame in half, this would be just one giant bar engulfing a smaller range, right? So the way this is sliced, and if you're going to be this strict time frame filter, I mean, you can't make rules that are so stupid like this ICT. Well, Wednesday, beginning of the month, right? I mean, the end of the day, obviously, there's lack of volatility, but how can you not structurally call out the next trade? It should be very simple, right? So if you're a trap trader, as soon as you get this, in Asia here is actually more rambunctious than it normally is, right? So it breaks the rule off the bat, right? See, these are bullshit rules to make. This Asia is very quiet. This one's not. This one actually takes out and traps the quiet session into, and maybe this is Friday, whatever. But all the trading that's going on here, where you have buy limits in here to make this trade, sell limits to make that trade. What's changing is that sometimes this is a 40 pip move. Okay, 20 pip. This is a 15 pip window of nothing. And what about the guy that just started buying limits here? He's probably already out of most of those trades. Okay, a new day's dawning here. Now that's the end of the day. Here comes Asia. Are you going to put buy limits here? Yeah, I'm going to put buy limits down here. And I'm going to hope they smash it. I'm going to put a buy stop here. No, because the volatility is too big for a breakout strategy. Breakout strategy only work during this phase. Small ranges. Here comes the breakout bots, or here comes anybody. But did that thing go all the way to China? No, it went to the fucking North Pole. In the end, right? So unless you took your 10, 20, to scale in and scale out is the holy grail. There's nothing else, and to not really give a fuck is the other holy grail. Anyways, I'm going to post this as is a comment, this session thing, if you want to play around with it. 8-hour trade blocks there, so to speak.